There we go, all resolved. Let's try that intro again. So today is going to be more of an experimental stream since we were having some internet issues. The one thing I wanted to kind of try out, and I was doing a little bit off stream, is what happens if you made multiple accounts? You go into classic mode and you try leveling yourself. We're going to cut into the game. Oh, it actually went to the correct one. That is actually a shock. So I have here all of me. I am all of these players. So unfortunately I only have control a little bit at a time. I wanted to showcase a couple things on stream, I guess. It didn't take very long to get here. Most of it is just making sure my movement is a little better. But, like, I'll show you what'll happen. Also, apologies for the nearly quadruplicated sound effects. I need to work that out if I want to do it in more of a formal stream at some point. Yeah, I basically just have to constantly switch characters and go back and forth. So I think the intent would be, for experimental purposes, I guess I don't need to show their POVs. Just know that I am rapidly clicking to make sure that they're activating the consoles and things of that nature. But I think from a performance standpoint, it seems okay. Not experiencing any slowdown on OBS or the game itself. I wanted to just kind of explore a couple of quests on stream. I think this is the only quest that will potentially give me experience. Now, it does require a lot of walking, which is why I don't think this will end up being my preferred quest of choice. Oh yeah, they're gonna be there for a little bit. You don't have the problem I have with my controller. My controller sends input to all windows. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had that. I mean, in a weird way, I kind of want that, but it's not how my controller behaves, so I gotta deal with it. So, like, one of us will be clearing the quest. They'll just be absorbing XP. I'm sure chat will hear their level up sound effect whenever it chimes in. Now, the problem with this has been they end up not close enough. I'm thinking from a standpoint of where do they stop receiving XP? Need to kind of check. You can hear them leveling the sound effects. So at least you can hear them gaining the XP. So it's in classic mode by default, or it might have been because I swapped to it beforehand. I did not have to choose classic mode. I'm looking to see if there's a point where these characters stop receiving XP, to narrow it down specifically what wave causes an issue. It's like up to this point, they don't do anything, they just eat the XP. But they're still all gaining XP as far as I can tell. This is where I think if we go to do a long-term project, I might want a picture-in-picture somewhere. Just have their little 3 mini perspective set up. But I was just curious if OBS would handle it, and it seems okay. You know, can't handle it streaming a normal game, but, you know, 4 launchers at once, it's like, yeah, we're not gonna lag or anything. Don't worry about that. Roll your eyes, chat. All the other characters still waiting for their mission to complete. Hope you're doing well, Darius. Get all of this XP? No. So I just killed those, they don't get the satellite lizard XP. There's definitely like a distance issue. And see, like, if you look at the map, the satellite lizards are closer, but maybe it's just how the map works. Contour cuts it off. Because they got XP from the Astarks. They get XP from this? No. Alright, so whatever I'm killing here isn't counting towards their XP. Interesting. So kind of the downside with moving them is that they're now no longer receiving anything. So what I would need to do normally is walk the characters manually closer, or what I can end up doing, which is what I meant to give them and realized I forgot to give that to them between streams. They need a Ryuker. So sadly, I don't think I have a spare Ryuker yet, question mark? I'd like reversers and stuff, but Ryuker I surprisingly don't have a lot of. I could, for example, leave a happy little telepipe down for them, so I'm just gonna showcase. They're all gonna take this thing, so oops, meant to give them that before I did the run. So they would have to work every time. You know, obviously I have a force, so eventually it should be pretty easy to learn. But ideally what I would do is try to slowly scooch them forward. Because I think once I go underground, it's a bit easier for them to get the XP. And then I would probably telepipe, I don't know, somewhere over here if I wanted to complete the run. Obviously this run's going to be very slow since it's very experimental. I'd probably put them like right about here-ish. In the meantime, I can use that item. You can hear it off screen. Oh, are they getting like a double input on their confirm? I wondering what was happening there. Something weird was happening. I was wondering how their menuing was so quick. Maybe there's an accidental double for them on fresh accounts. I'll look into that later. And it's not like they're really doing anything, so it's probably okay for now. They're just gonna wait in a happy little circle. I'm just gonna watch their XP. So they're slightly desynced in levels, but you should hear level ups very soon. This another range is like 2-3 standard rooms first, so this whole room should level though. You're just gonna constantly hear that sound in the background. It's funny, I will say, it's very funny listening to it. They're not like the most efficient means, obviously it's probably better to play with other people, but it is kind of amusing that I can solo carry if I get really bored. So we're gonna do some quest comparisons on stream. Obviously, you know, this quest has its annoyances, so they would have to... Oh, you know what I would do? I would make them all take my warp now, and they all individually take it, and then I put another warp down here, and then I have them retake the warp, so that way they're in range. I think that's the power play, so I can save on how many times I need to cast. Yes, that's a little better. Something like that, maybe? So I was thinking for the characters I really just don't enjoy leveling. Since it's gonna take like almost double the time to level them anyway, I'll save myself time if I level a lot of my hunters this way. Like I think some are fine on their own, like UCAS can probably carry, but like the Hunu rolls and everything else, I don't know about that. So I might have to go into their individual accounts and mute them. Also, I just realized they're probably all doing music and stuff. Because I'm listening to music, so I don't hear it. Oh no, are they playing music? Yes, they are all playing music. What is it, BGM 0? Let's not deafen chat. My bad. Okay, much better. That should make it a bit more listenable too. Although the sound effect is still very high. Is it like SFX1 or something? You weren't actually hearing your sounds? Oh, that's good. I just get to hear the cacophony then. I hear the from the desert constantly when I lower the music. That's interesting. OBS doesn't pull multiple sources there. Well, the chat doesn't get to enjoy the level up sounds, unfortunately. They're just gonna have to take my word on some of these. Just look at their levels. I mean, probably for the best, OBS is not attempting to put 3 launchers of sound into it. Oh, what? Oh, they're getting hunted down with Rip. Damn, they went really far to go kill them. How rude. Leave my helpless characters alone. Shadow lizards. Hold on. Yeah, I'll have to do some sound management on my side. Is the other one SFX? Because I'll have to mute it at some point. Because when I get really close to them, I can hear quadruple remoting. It's definitely a sound to hear. I level. Thank you. Ooh, poor fake without lyrics. I do like this song. Still gaining XP, yes. Where they're standing, they still receive XP. I'm just scared these satellite lizards were gonna turn and go kill those. Just want to make sure they specifically were destroyed. Oh, that's like a tickle move there. I was gonna say, wait a minute. He doesn't have the right bird though. His damage looked low. Suzu. Hope chat is doing well. I'm assuming stream is okay. I can't see the quality meter at the moment. Oh my god, that was so deafening. Well, I know they can hear the photon crystal sound effect. I'm gonna pick up my singular photon crystal. Let's see, does this level them if I kill this? It does. So they're still in range over here. Interesting thing. I have a charge. Definitely no hit though. I was mostly just kind of negotiating them through the quest. Like, obviously, it's going to be slow compared to just getting to help you. But I'm kind of curious how far I can take this. Alright, they need SFX 0, like, immediately. At least SFX 1, so it's, like, more manageable. Alright, that's slightly more tolerable. So they're all waiting on the warp already, so I basically just need to do another warp here. I don't want them in the room ever. Yeah, their other sound effects are probably more muted, so you probably didn't hear them. For me, it's like ultra loud. Oops. For me, it's like ultra loud. Like, you might hear them taking the telepipe here. That's why I was like, I desperately needed to do it. Into the pipe. Anyway, they should be a little quieter now. If nothing else, it's for my own sanity to not listen to that quantum sound. Yeah, the rare drop sound effect was so loud, it actually just completely overshadowed the music I'm listening to. That must have been loud. Maybe the other sound effects aren't too bad because it's in the background. Yeah, I was gonna say whoosh, whoosh. They go through. At least it's a bit quieter. You might still hear their level ups every now and then. Okay, so did they level from here? Yes. Okay, so I don't need to move them yet if I can level them here. Just hear them faintly leveling in the distance. So overall, this quest is definitely a lot more hands-on the level. Like, when we play MA4C, it is autopilot. When I'm playing multi-box, oh my gosh, there's so many annoying things I gotta remember. Well, I say multi-box, that's in this one. Multiple accounts on one computer. So I'm abiding by classic mode rules, so I'm not duping items. I'm not gonna collect the quest rewards with them, even if I finish it. So they're literally gonna slash lobby. If I'm gonna clear a quest, it's gonna be only with this character getting the rewards. I was reading the rules. So no free MA4 tickets for them. I just gotta be careful when I get to the end of the quest to just slash lobby with them, or just choose not to complete the quest going forward. So, trying to make it as fair as possible, according to the rules as per establishing. They wrote a clause in for power leveling, which I think we could agree is happening. It's not as efficient as it could be. Their little buffs are wearing off, so now I need them to take my work again. So maybe that's what the secret is. Maybe I don't need to teach them to telepipe. They just only take my telepipe. That would actually save me a lot of casts, and then I don't need to teach them other techniques. So I could leave them like in here, for example. Yeah, that's a lot more manageable. Okay, so now I don't need to care if they have telepipes or not. Right, chat, that is much better. Okay. I don't know why I didn't think of that earlier, but I'm like, yeah. As long as I put my telepipe down, then they can follow me. Nice. Their buffs don't matter. I don't care about their stats. I gotta get out of here. Goodbye. Let's observe. I will mention the chat whether they're getting XP across this pit. I hope they are. I have all their XPs lined up in the bottom right, so it's actually pretty easy to read it. Just gotta kill something here. They are all indeed leveling. Okay. There we go. Mini level up sounds. Here's another example where they need to take the warp. See, the problem with this quest is if you go underground, look how many warps I have to do. Because they have to be close enough for this. I don't know why I did that. That was a mistake. That's okay. That's why we have a telepipe on the other character. Character had it was the painter. We're all gonna take a happy little work. There we go. Come to me, my red horse and hunter and ranger army. There we go. Like, in terms of smoothness, I mean, I'm clearly not seeing any frame drops or anything, both in OBS and the game itself. That's good at least. Carrying them like this through very hard mode might be a bit rough, but getting to the very hard shouldn't be bad. My goal with all of these characters, they just have to reach Value City. They could join in on any runs, that would be fair. Also, what the heck is my, Oh, no, oh, I forgot to put on the other addit. Let's see, what the heck is my TP usage? Curiosity. Since I helped them get to higher level earlier. Ooh, actually, big question. Did they get XP from here? Question mark. Find out. I got over 8,000 kills. Oh, they actually get XP from there? Really? Oh. Oh, if they want to get XP, I'm not gonna complain. Right, chat? Like, okay, it's one less warp I need to do if I want to do this again. Cool. I don't know if they get XP from these guys, if they're far back. Well, now they will. That is so funny. I need to put Zon character's bar. I don't have any quick spell for it to hit the stupid rampies. Coming up to another warp. Hear the sound effects whenever the enemy defeated thing pops up. Ooh. How am I gonna get them in this room? I could try to do it. Stop hitting me. You. Like me right now. Go away. He went. Well, if I use the warp with this guy. Yeah, something's double inputting on this. I'll have to fix that later. So if he takes the little warp. The other guy is stuck there, which is kind of funny. It's a little risky. I mean, he's trying really hard. I think we could all agree. He's trying really hard to get me there. He might succeed in a moment, though. No? Why? Is there something we're learning today? Is there a reason they can't hit these targets? Oh, there we go. Wow, that was like 30 million years of iframes. That was interesting. I guess you have a lot of iframes spawning in, question mark? That was ridiculous. He swung like 7 times before it made contact. Actually outrageous. Ooh, yeah, see, that puts him at like very hard mode level if you're to Bulu HP. I don't like that. I'd have to bring demons if I want to do this run. I think, needless to say, on hard mode, this run is ruled out. Normal mode, it still might be okay. I at least want to experiment with different quests, just to kind of showcase the speed difference. I think we'll still be able to finish the quest, but it's going to be tight. Well, tighter than normal, I'll put it that way. We're not going to have like 20 minutes to spare. And I gotta protect them from the Rappy gods. After that, they should be. Why did they stop following me? Leave me alone. Leave all of me alone. Right, chat? It would be funny if I see them suction cup the people to the girder below. I mean, like, whoever's going in, they're gone, chat. They're not making it. It's over for them. Their damage is actually shockingly low on the low difficulties. Like, those characters are literally just wearing frame and starting barrier, by the way. They can't get one shot here. That should tell you something. I think we have too much to worry about for new characters. As long as you keep them away from Dorphons, they're pretty much going to live. Like, if Bomar can live, everybody can live. I think we can agree, chat. like maybe, okay, maybe we'll test with Photo World, but everybody else will live. This defense is terrible. Your faint level up sounds in the distance. Unfortunately, my one ranger is desynced with XP, with that XP share distance issue. It's very unfortunate. Please stop. Rappy waking up at the worst time. So close to killing me. Rip all my fluids. I might need another adept for this if I'm doing multi-boxing. This is so draining on the resources. But it's okay, we're a high level force, whatever. Fine. Hey, why didn't that stun him? Is this... Oh, I guess he doesn't reset as quickly. I gotta do it even slower. There we go, even slower. So I'm gonna go hand it in with this character. The others need to slash lobby. Oof, only 8 tickets, brutal. Anyways, let's slash lobby them. Slash lobby. Slash. Come to me, my army. You saw how that went. I'm gonna compare it to specifically the quest I used in normal mode. You can just see me one by one moving up to the counter. Menacingly, I'd like to state. Am I going to be forced to hold a fire scepter here? Be so sad if I can't unseal while doing this. So sadly, we're gonna play the quest that was literally nerfed today. Or at midnight, whichever. However you would have framed that. So the person that comes in last needs to move up. Once he's there, I could just immediately go into the counter here. So this is where it becomes convenient for me. I have to move them a very small distance. Also, fun fact, the timer doesn't start until all the characters confirm. So I could use this to just get into position, by the way. Like, see how it's not starting? I gotta do 1, 2, 3. Did you know that? That's funny. It does actually wait for everybody to confirm. Little CC fun fact right there, chat. How polite of the game to wait for all the readies. So if somebody AFKs there, you just can't advance the quest. Too funny. I'll deban them when I get to the next area. I can technically do it now if I really wanted to. Unfortunately, episode 2, they start scaling upwards pretty quickly with resistances. The hard mode is kind of the cutoff for them. You can see already I'm not insta-killing. So unfortunate. Go back to Gapoe Merge to help with damage. It's poor enemies, John. Look at that, they're taking like 7 Gapoes in the face. I think the enemies in Ultimate need to take some notes. Lightning these guys because they're annoying. Don't worry, chat. We probably will not see any rare enemies. XP is pretty good. The difference between this quest and the other quest, obviously, I don't need to move them. So for me, it's just going to be a time save. So like normally CCC is kind of slow for a force, right? In multiplayer because their resistances are pretty high. You don't have access to like hell weapons. So like if you're playing with like a serious squad, you could have like multiple rangers, hell, everything, and it's a pretty easy quest. But from this perspective, I have to solo carry with this character. Kind of annoying. Fortunately though, we're almost there. You can see like without the fire scepter, I'm just not quite one-shotting. Isn't that wild? Episode 2 is so tanky. Episode 2 surviving better than Episode 4 Desert. Oh, resistances. You're so hosed in Episode 2. You don't make any sense. Now here's the moment of truth. And I spammed to keep them safe in these upcoming areas. We're gonna go in the center. Just gonna menu cast. Ooh, it doesn't one-shot them. Oh no, this is gonna take forever. This is what I'm talking about. Single player, this would have killed. Multiplayer, it's not one-shotting them. That's a problem. Deltamer's dead though. Oh, Deltamer's not dead. Wow. With 1400 MST, Gapoe Merge, Ignition Cloak, that's not good enough? That's crazy, chat. Why is it like that? That's not okay. Like, there are so... It didn't even kill the pan arms? Wow. I'm feeling cheated. So I do need Fire Scepter if I want to do this again. Which is kind of wild. Like, I'm using Gapoe Merge plus Ignition Cloak, and I'm still shy damage on hard mode. Why? Episode 2, please. Your resistances are such BS. Yeah, look at that. They're actually... Wow, that's crazy. We're actually getting to move around despite this almost max level force just dominating with Gavoe. Crazy. So yeah, this will end up being a pretty expensive run overall. So I think CCC ends up being the best. You see, they're actually getting injured there. That's crazy. Really? I had all those Gafoes out and not a single one interrupted that attack? Really? Disgusting, chat. Absolutely disgusting. Unacceptable and disgusting. Wow, I think I unironically need to fire stuff through this. That is so sad. It's not killing fast enough. Kind of a problem. Use a lot of bolts. Welcome, Mila, you. Doing well. So yeah, so if I do CCC again, I would need to fire scepter here, so I'd have to stop unsealing. I feel like dirty and forbidden words. Like, I'm not even in very hard mode. Why do I have to stop unsealing? Please. Let's stack a couple more bows here. Ooh. And look at that. See, now I gotta wait for the split, which costs me TP. So unfortunate. Taking my head. Start leveling. I say as they take damage. Yeah. See, this is the problem. If the Gavoe doesn't insta-kill them, they're just gonna die like that. But I think in a moment I'm going to request. They're not gonna survive the next stage in any stretch of the imagination. Really interrupt my slash lobby. Okay, so I'm gonna try that again, but this time almost as optimal. Well, actually probably as optimal as possible. I'm gonna see if it's even possible to stop them from getting hit. Because them getting hit is definitely a big issue. But for the first time in like many weeks, I will purposely go put on the proper weapon. Are you happy, game? I'm gonna go into my inventory. I'm gonna retrieve the magical piece. I better not see a single enemy move after this. They should all die. Ridiculous. Do I have a spare addict? Is it still on the other character? I do. It's slightly lower my damage, but this should still be fine. It's more important that I can sort of keep it here. The double adept Heavenly Mind V801. What a beautiful setup, chat. Hope you're doing well, Miliu. Potentially, if you want to level a little later. No, I will not be doing so with all my ults. I would like you to get items. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Mind me, just joining a game with myself. Just the squad briefly all rolling out. Let's try this again. Yeah, they're just using literally no materials, no items. So for me, they're just kind of shells of characters until we make them real. And I'm gonna position him in the middle, which I have a million seconds to do because every other character's stuck here. Okay. Now let's see the difference in magical piece. Oh, there we are. We're finally one-shotting. There we go. That should be like 9k difference. It's so important we hit those thresholds. literally the difference between like 2+ seconds. See, he actually died without me using lightning. When you go fully optimal, you just spam kill everything. Good. What I want to see. I still have more MST I could potentially do for damage, but we're seeing the maximum boosts. Yeah, see, this still requires a little zap to speed it up, but I can look at that. Levels and PD drop chance of 3 ults. I am so sorry, Fulcrum. You have not heard the news. CCC doesn't drop anything anymore. They literally nerfed it yesterday. / midnight today, however you want to view it. So, no drops at all in CCC. Plus, you're not allowed to get drops from multi-account. So either way, you'd have to play classic mode. No worries. It just hit the news. It's at the launcher. Alright, my remaining TP looking amazing now. Thank you, Double Adept. This is definitely a I'm done with the game way of leveling, and I don't feel like waiting for people. Hey, this isn't too bad. I could probably get them to very hard mode the next half hour. Right, chat? Probably playing about 2 hours to get them to very hard. Mostly me just trying to figure out setups. Magical pieces required here. You need both good foe emerge and magical piece, which is crazy. The fact I need to be this optimal to clear it compared to episode 4 shows you how bad episode 2 is for forces. If that is any sign, I'm literally almost as strong as you could possibly be, and I'm still not killing these things instantly. Crazy. Truly degenerate behavior. Whoever made the resistances in episode 2, they hated force. I don't know how else to explain it. Actually terrible. The war crime. Oh my gosh, they're still not getting one shot. They're so annoying. They're gonna get some hits on me. I gotta be careful with them. Hellsaber should die now. Okay, those at least die instantly. Hopefully Chaos Sorcerers too. Okay. At least half the enemies are instantly dying now. That's an improvement. Yeah, merges are a really big bump in damage. So once you have a Fire Scepter, a merge is much greater than getting something like an Ignition Cloak. Because you might pay like 15 PDs, for example, or try to hunt it, which does take a while. Or you go for half the cost to triple the value output. So definitely Gafoi, Rafoi are some of the earliest merges you go for. Blue barriers are not really hard to get at high levels, so I wouldn't go too crazy with them if you have a lot of forces. Just playing a lot of casual yellow ID and pink ID, you'll pick them up. Red barriers are a lot more annoying to get because they're in places that are not good for the ID, generally speaking. That's like all the quests with like good boxes for it are just not quests you run on that ID, is what I mean by that. Yeah, attributes unfortunately don't make any impact at all for weapons. Well, they were all 0'd or 100%. Not impact their damage. How am I taking damage? How? There's so many Gafois. Game, please. Okay. Don't make me resolve this room. No. No. There we go. Please die. There we go. Much better. Yeah, now the pan arms aren't splitting, so I'm not waiting like 5 years for them to attack. Good freeze. One pan arm in the corner. I can deal with that. I did mostly be people alone, which is nice. Oh, they start on them. That's how they got injured. Got it. It's gonna be hard to heal them unless I use a heal from a force. They're very far apart by default. guess I can kill them, just to see how or if I can even clear the next area. I guess I could try to get some of them, but it would really matter. Okay, let's witness. Will these guys pay attention to me is the question. Well, they will, okay. Well then I have a chance. So they'll stand in a way that it should wake up all the gorillas. Yeah, like, if Chad did not understand how bad Episode 2 is for forces, I hope this demonstrates a literally max level force can barely clear Episode 2 hard mode multiplayer attacks. Like, just try to picture that in Ultimate, how little damage this character does. It's actually kind of disgusting. The other character. Eric Carroll takes good ice damage. Look at that. Look at how many paths it takes to kill this. This is not okay. Episode 2, why are you like this? Why? Yeah, it's super bad. So I think the safe call is to always leave its spaceship. On normal mode, I can actually kill the Gibbles with Stack the Bowie. It does an okay damage to him. Yeah, it's so bad. I mean, look at this. I'm doing 258 as the weakness? Like, really? So unfair. I think they're dead here. They're dead here. I don't think I can save them with this. Yeah, they're dead. Let's slash lobby. Not much you can really do about that. Yeah, we're aware you use Hell in Episode 2. But at the same time, it's not gonna... Hell is too slow for keeping all three alive. It has to be the Bowie stacks and spaceship. If there were like 2 people helling, then it wouldn't matter. So let's tell them to go back to Pioneer 2. Yeah, I can't exactly hell shot with 2 players and make sure they dodge. Their stats are also hilariously terrible. What are they at? Like 174, 118? Ooh. Terrible. Let's lobby them out of here. I feel a lot better than my brief attempts at CCC solo leveling. See, that's what I'm talking about. I feel like there's a lot of misinformation because people will just kind of blindly say like X quest is good for XP. There's an asterisk there. It's a really big asterisk. It's called use hell weapons or perish. Like, if you try to do it as a low-level force, I feel so bad. I feel bad that you went and did that. There's just no way. I mean, look at the struggle just to clear with a almost completely maxed force. It's so brutal. Life doesn't make any sense, chat. Closer. I mean, they're getting there. You can see exactly when I switch windows to move faster. Yeah. Episode 2 absolutely hates forces. If you did not believe it, I hope this is the showcase for it. I'm going to confirm the quest on all characters. That's why I think it's important to eventually have characters that focus ATP, or at least can use Hell. Because most of these things can get one-shot by, like, Megid. So, like, if all you're caring about is, like, single target kills, it's not too bad. But, like, Rangers eventually could just AoE clear entire rooms. So they'll do, like, special on lower difficulties, and they've now killed 15 enemies. There's just no physical way for you to compete with that whatsoever. Oh, nice. I'll grab it. Little bonus XP there. There's just no way you can compete with it. So with nothing else, this would be a good demonstration to new players, or even people that never played Forced into Episode 2. When I complain about this, and I say this area is miserable to play as MST, this is what I'm talking about. Like, almost top of the line everything could barely kill anything. It's so sad. But it's okay. The things we do for XP. I guess alternatively, we could try to compare a Hell run, although I don't have like a really strong blue ID. Not that I guess it matters anymore. So I guess I could just bring in, I don't know, my 197 Rocket Seal, see how fast it goes. So it is worth at least testing the boundaries of multi-box, which one I find easier to do. Like this room, it doesn't matter how fast you clear it because the allies are outside of it. But the other ones, it's like they're in the corners, so how do I stop the... The problem is, like, when they get hit by the dub chicks, I don't know how to kill them fast enough without the Bowie stacks. They're in, like, opposite corners, unfortunately. Yeah. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, I don't really want to deal with spaceship complications. Need a few more die fluids. Rip getting die fluids and pipe fluids while playing. So sad. There's one other quest we could try now that they've leveled a little bit. I've purposely been holding off on it because I wanted them to get more HP. I could probably guess what the quest is I'm gonna do next. Guys. I'll give you a hint, it's gonna involve more Bowie spam. Oh, they almost hit another player there. Crazy. Oh, stop stun locking me. Get out of here. Yeah, like, this wave is fine. They don't start near the other players. Once I pop this, they'll die near these. Fine. Just a little level up for them. Little tankiness is appreciated. Yeah, that right there is where they could die if I'm not careful as a ranger. In fact, they still might get injured. I think I saved them that time. Oh, almost struck him. That was close. Akapoe was taking its sweet time going over there. Also, I think this should demonstrate why I usually prefer Rapoe to Gapoe. To see how, like, all these people are getting hit. So it's like, if I know exactly where they're gonna spawn, I can Rapoe to try to kill them. But the difference being that if I can stack everything, I might be able to kill them instantly. I just gotta be careful here. Kind of a trade-off. Shoot a wall level up sounds. Like, I try to 91. There we go. More stacks for later. Dive fluids, walk over here. Bowie. Gets it split, that's fine. That could be the Bowie for the next wave. Couple items in the wave. Die. I'm gonna Razan there to force me to turn an A. Yeah, that right there is really hard to deal with the Ranger. I think they would just all die, legitimately. They can survive a couple blows with base gear. Take it up a notch. So I'm gonna try as quickly as I can to slash lobby them out of here. But switching screens is slow. Almost. Then there was me in the caves. At least they don't attack me there. Oh, what happened to the music? Okay. try a different quest. One probably everybody uses for leveling when they have money to spare. You'll see the downside is I have to walk them in front of me in order for them to be close enough to the counter. I have to make sure not to swap them too soon. That way they can come over here. There we go, chat. The secret quest. I love somebody in Discord today for the Ephinea servers, like, nobody plays Beyond the Horizon. And I'm like, you fool. That is such nonsense. People play Beyond the Horizon all the time. It's for unsealing and leveling. The reason you don't see them playing it is because they do it so quickly, they don't need to be in it for like 20 hours. That's the difference. It's played, you just don't need to play it for very long. It's probably the best way to phrase what happens here. Oh, I should have talked to him. Yeah, wow, look at that mash. Holy. That mash was real. Wow. Built different. Chat like that mash. Do your menus look like that, chat? So, contrary to popular belief, you don't need to move from here to get XP. I've seen people say that before when I played this, and I'm like, no you don't. Trust me, no you don't. They can stay there all they want. So kind of like CCC, there's a little safe spot for new players. You have to come in the room. We're gonna prove that because they're going to level at about 3,000 experience. Anyway, yet another quest where we just instant delete everything near us. Notice how much faster and smoother this is for rapid experience. Of course, we have an enemy that's somewhat resistant to us, but look, we do like quadruple the damage compared to the yellow variant in Temple. Outrageous. Oop, we're getting stun lock there. Another Kapogi out. Yeah, we're not quite able to one-shot the Buddhas, but two-shotting is fine. Now some more XP into the next level up. 466 until the next level up. Man, XP is so stupid here. 415, 364. And let's speed this up with a couple of Robardas there. Nice level up. He's about to level again. There you go, chat. We're dispelling myths. Nuking enemies. They have enough HP, they might survive the next stage. Because that's the big concern about episode 4. I don't really care about your damage when we're leveling you. Oh, he's trying so hard to kill the teammate. Get out of here. They're off limits, sorry. GG, get outplayed. He tried though. And near instant delete is satisfying. And the best part is going between stages, you get a TP refill. Now, if I don't use any tri-floats here, I'm gonna end up full TP again. This quest noticeably much easier than the other quest. But the downside is it costs you money to enter. Oh, they can actually reach through there. Huh. I mean, it didn't kill them, so I don't care. They actually live with 1 HP, I think, by the way. Or something close. That's fine. See, this is why I came here later, in case some jank happened. Where he just hit through the wall, which he's not supposed to do, by the way, but that's fine. Whatever, game. Listen, walls are suggestions to everybody, enemies and allies alike. Whoa, what the happened, XP? If all you care about is leveling, you can run this quest. I just feel like if you're in very hard mode, you have no reason to go fast. Enjoy your levels, get your materials, get your PDs, possibly get heavenly arms or other useful items. So, because I have double Adept on, I didn't end up using any tri-fluids, so I'm about to be healed here. And I can reapply E-Band for them so they can survive a bit better. If they take a little damage here, it's not the end of the world. Do that real quick. It's a more favorable position to keep them alive. Of course, if they die, they do get teleported out of the quest, so there's something to consider. I'd recommend if you decide to do this, you probably should put at least heavily HP on them. I'm using literally just blank characters. No slots, no material usage. This is just base character. So this isn't even like an accurate representation of playing with people. Oh, hey, don't rep me. Oh, rep is near me somewhere. Oh, give me that XP. Yeah, give me that 390. Gotta heal them up no matter what here. Them getting knocked down here is actually good. And I can heal them through the Dorthon, I think. Oh no, never mind. They got stopped by Dorthon. They don't have enough HP for Dorthon. That's what I was worried about. But it's okay. They can collectively exit the quest together. How convenient. So unfortunately, they are dead. That's fine. They still got decent levels. So yeah, so if I take some time to set up frames on them, I think this could work. Because it is very fast. But do I really want to keep setting up frames on like multiple sets of characters if I'm just gonna be playing them for like an hour and a half? I don't know. That's where I'm not sure which I would prefer at that point. I'll go back to CCC for now. That mash was real. Getting better at the mash. What are they for? Ooh, the characters I'm leveling? It's so I have more ID coverage. I'm kind of tired of playing, and chat has a combination of kind of interesting characters. And don't get me wrong, it's good to be off meta with some things, but there are times where I'm like, if we're going to be playing a lot of Episode 2 in the future, I need a lot of ID coverage if chat does not have the right IDs for it. So I'll give an example. Blue ID, white ID, pink ID. Somebody needs to be able to host on theirs with their primary character. And a lot of people don't have those IDs. So from the standpoint of being able to host, I need those for Episode 2. For Episode 4, if we're doing very hard mode versus ultimate, that's a different batch of IDs. So ideally, as chat generally gets more and more powerful, I would like characters that are kind of hybrid classes or good standalone classes. So like, Ramar, for example, who I'm moving up here, is really, 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 really good at Hell. So if we're playing spaceship or Hell-oriented quests or very hard mode, I would like to be able to host as him without needing to play a Force. Or Fomar, like, if we're going to play a lot of Mines, which Mines is very good, then it's just one of those things where I prefer a class with a lot of ATP. Or like Hunural, where accuracy might not be an issue in Episode 1 as much as it is in Episode 2, or I'm looking for a support character that could Dark Flow. So now that I have like a gear range, I want to be able to make sure that no matter who brings in what, I can cover. So like, for example, there's a lot of times where we don't have people playing Force at all. So that forces me to be one of like a couple of IDs, and I just don't have that coverage myself. So like, I can't say like, oh, I'd really like a Raw Marl here because QQ Laser is godlike in Episode 4, but I only have it on purple and white ID. So if I need somebody to host or secondary ID green ID and nobody has a green ID, then we can't do certain runs the way we would like to run them. Or we have people that potentially need to host yellow ID Episode 4 runs with an ult of Iridian or an ult of purple or orange, for example. And it's fine. There's no problem with that. I prefer people to play what they'd like to play, but consequently, I don't really want to go to jungle and be forced to play because nobody has pink ID, Fomarl, for example. So being able to actually play a ranger into it is a way better experience. I think I kind of touched base on that on a different stream, but being able to have that coverage is nice. Will I use most of the IDs all the time? Probably not. So that's why, like, for my particular setup that I'm testing out, I haven't decided if I'm going to recommend it or not. is just to say I'm literally going to split all the classes into different alt accounts. So I have one class for forces, one for hunter, one for ranger. So I have a generalist account, which is just kind of good for free play. And then I would like to have like a very base level of items where I don't really need much to do well. So eventually some of my ES weapons will go to the rangers. And I'm always going to be doing challenge mode, I would say, probably between Halloween and December, as well as post January. So for people that are looking to get their first CS weapons, I'm just going to get like a lot of quote-unquote duplicates. Or I'll have kind of niche ones that aren't needed across classes. Like, I'll give an example. Like, I can have demon cards on forces, because that's not something that can be used by other classes. Something like demon mech gun is more universal. I would say a bit more highly contested, which account will end up having it for a while. But at the same time, I can have Hell J Cutter and Hell Slicer. And that basically covers hunters and forces, and then the Hell Shot covers rangers. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I can actually pretty evenly split a lot of them in terms of ES weapon utility. It's just that there's going to be some that kind of bounce around a bit more than others. Mostly Demon Mech Gun. So the goal here is to just make sure that, you know, if Chad is looking to host some kind of weird niche run for heart of items that's not my forte, that at least I could potentially host it for them. And honestly, when it comes to IDs, probably one of the best IDs to have overall is Redria. It really can just go everywhere. I don't think there's really a truly terrible area for Redria. It's got really good TTF, it gets a V502, it has somewhat solid episode 2, not like the top 2 or anything, but enough that you could reasonably still get things in high level play. And then it has arguably one of the best episode 4 IDs. So it's just kind of like a really solid all-rounder. It's also my favorite Towards the Future ID. So when we're doing like Rare Enemy Week, and we happen to be doing Anniversary or happen to be doing other events, an ID that can get more out of Red Slime means that potentially you turn an item that normally would never be worth hunting, like Lava's Cannon, into something you just kind of incidentally get because you're playing Red ID. It's kind of unfair, just like the same. Red ID is really, really good. So I would like to have multiples for those. And I think kind of to that same expression, I do think there are some episode 4 quests that I like a lot more as Hunter, but my ability to cover it is limited by what people have. So for example, I have a Hucasil, and she's really good at it in solo, but if I'm playing multiplayer, it'd probably be better suited for me to play Hugo Whirl, where I can just shift the group and debuff, and just because everybody else is playing cast, then they can continue to play cast rather than play something that isn't as strong for them. Yeah, like, I think a lot of it stems to what Thetharius is saying, where I'm like, there are some ID preferences for sure, and honestly, I don't really touch white that often, either. I keep seeing it as, like, a good general ID, and, like, to some extent it is true, but, like, after I did, like, the major hunts for it, unless I'm specifically doing, like, Terrell's Ego, I don't really play it. You'll notice me not play it for episode 4. I'll play it for episode 2. Oh, I might have a death here. Unfortunate. Got knocked out at the worst time. That sucked. No, I got interrupted. Now my rhythm is off. Hellsingers. It is what it is. At least I could safely lobby them here. Yeah, it's like if you want to skip Brave Man, it's fine. It's one of those ones where it's more interesting in Omnispawn for me. It has some pretty solid episode 2 runs in general. But otherwise, it's not my preferred ID. For sure. Yeah, like, again, like, I just feel like some of the advice is just kind of wrong. to be frank, I'm just gonna disagree with the wiki. Like, good all-rounder. Like, yes, Disco Brave Man is a good all-round item. Are you going to be using that on most characters? No. I kind of hope not. Question mark. I'm like, why would you be using Disco on Ranger? Or why would you try to Disco on, like, Fodu Whirl or stuff like that? There's just a lot of, I don't know, kind of weird choices in there. I get it more if they were talking about some of the V5 units. That's a bit more reasonable. Try that again. So otherwise, yeah, a lot of white IDs kind of fall into the trap of all they really have is Disco Brave Man, so there's nothing wrong with it. It's good to have a farm for it. Like, you'll figure out which one you like across the many difficulties. But otherwise, I'm like, oh, once you get like a 40-50, am I really dying for a 100-hit one? Not really. I'd rather get like your Heaven Strikers and such. Oops. From the last one. Being trolled. There we go, let's try that again. Yeah. And then I feel bad because you look at like other recommendations, and last time I looked, Atharius can fact check me in real time, I don't think there was a single class they recommended doing yellow ID on, by the way. It was one of the ones where I'm like, really? Like one of the better IDs? Really? Not gonna recommend this to anybody? Like, okay. I'm like, good luck hunting lame. I hope you're not doing RNID contra you. So I kind of take the recommendations there with a grain of salt, as it were. Yeah. Last time I checked, they recommended, I think, blue, white, Viridian, probably the most. I don't know if they've since updated. For a while, it was literally they just copy-pasted the section ID recommendations. So I hope it's a little better than that. I mean, it was almost literally word for word, ID for ID. It was all Viridian, all white ID, all blue ID for a while. So I haven't looked super recently. I hope that there's more nuance as of today, compared to even just the beginning of the year. Yeah. And it's not Milayu's fault, that's just how the wiki presents itself. So I think people kind of forget, you know, there's more than one way to play the game. So self-bound versus efficient to hunt, which they started to add in their defense. Even as of last year, they started doing the easy to hunts. But they don't really talk about a lot of the strengths of the other IDs. Like, if you go and dig into one of the sections, you'll see a table on, like, items that this ID hunts uniquely to others. Like, I know that exists in the wiki, for example. But from the standpoint of... I didn't mean them to get hit there, that's unfortunate. But from the standpoint of, like, we usually get asked questions like, what are the IDs that you recommend a lot for new players if you're not sure where to go? Honestly, it's almost always Redria. Like, what can't that ID do? It gets, like, one of the best handguns in the game, it gets a P502, it's Cannon Rouge, another really great Ranger ID item. Generally don't want a lot of force items, so like you'll kind of pick your fillers for them. Purple's a really good ID. All Hunter, Sky Viridian White, all Ranger, green, purple, blue, Sky White, all Force, green, white, red, white. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. Where's yellow? Okay, so that has to change. The recommendations at least changed it a little bit, so thank you, Narius, for clarifying on the other classes. For a while, it was literally just the Hunter suggestions. So it's good that they're actually advertising things. I think they did, in Ranger's defense, I think it always had purple. That is a classic one for Ranger. Whereas like half the IDs, so true. But to be fair, yellow ID is probably the only one that I would not consider niche at all. We'll run it very often, especially for episode 1. So I like to view those as mostly just, for a while they kind of tunnel vision on Red Ring, which don't get me wrong, is good. But like, what do you do once you're done with Red Ring? And I feel like a lot of those IDs just don't have anything that you would do on those characters. Not to mention Red is also really good at Red Ring, but that's fun. That might be dead here. Oh. Wow, the Delt Savers all ignored me. How rude. Fine. I see how it is. It's so tricky. Gafoe is like so finicky in this quest. I don't know why like it sometimes tags them well and sometimes it doesn't. I would love to understand what the timing window is there. Yeah, like Greeno, see, and the problem is like Greeno used to make sense when it had V101 in TTF. But like now, like would I recommend players take that as like their first one? Like absolutely not. Greeno is very niche now at best, unfortunately. Well, I'm not even sure some of the advice is updated. And with the Sky Hunter, Green and White Ranger, and Pink on my Force so far. See, Pink is okay for, like, self-found to start out for Forces. Like, it's important to have somebody that could get you easy access to the Elemental Wands if you're doing self-found. There's nothing wrong with that, it's just that you'll eventually just kind of go, okay, I have my items, now how do I take them to a place where they can really get me, like, insane value, and they can just clear it really well. So there's definitely like a very big difference between, you know, this is my first character, or I'm looking to push Faux Newman or Faux Marl to their max. Where should they be going? So there's nothing wrong with going Pink Force. In fact, it's still pretty good in Ultimate for episode 4. A little worse now that CCC got removed from CCC. Yeah, I don't know. I think the section ID things are kind of whack. I remember a long time ago looking at the forums, and then people would just kind of post like, oh, I think this ID is really good, but then like, they don't ever explain why. So it's like, I can't even like contend with it from like a conversation standpoint. So I don't think I responded to like any of the old school forums from like 5+ years ago. Just because it was like, oh, I think green and pink are really good on Force. And I'm like, okay. And then they're like, oh, I think green and pink's really good on Hunter. And I'm like, is it though? Is it? Is it though? So it's just one of those things where, oh, wrong episode. No. Just one of those things we gotta be careful with. Yeah, like, I like RNID, but it's definitely meant as, like, a follow-up quest, or kind of like a follow-up ID. I think it helps you nail really specific items very well, but it's not going to be as, like, universally run as some of the other ones, because you'll eventually hone in on where you think your value is going to be. And I think that's not really discussed when they talk about picking the section ID as much. So many Ziggy Rez games. Here, here. Ironically, them leveling is getting them killed more often because they're no longer leveling when they get struck. Great irony. Higher level equals dead more often. Okay, We should be done like the next half hour. I would have been done a little sooner if I didn't already wipe there, but it is what it is. So, I don't know. So unfortunately, section ID recommendations are very heavily tied into quest recommendations. So it's just like in a constant state of flux. So I don't know if I could ever make a video that would be helpful, given that, you know, I literally log in today and a quest is completely changed and has basically ruined blue and pink ID on multiple difficulties with no compensation elsewhere. So it's like one of those things where, like, literally I could talk about how good blue and pink were on Rocket Seal, and now I have no reason to play those characters. Which is really sad, but it's true. Like, I literally made 2 characters specifically for CCC this year, and I barely got to use them before it basically got disabled, since I was using it for Jaya hunts and stuff like that off stream. So sad. Yeah, I think another big thing too is I keep hearing people talk about, like, what if I only had 3 characters? And I'm like, that is just not gonna you are gonna not have a good time if you think you're only gonna have 1 or 2 characters. You could have 1 character class across all IDs. That's fine. Just don't even pick and choose. Just, like, if you like Humar, you can just do 10 section IDs of Humar. At least you have ID coverage, so you can host games. Or you could be a good secondary ID for other people. So, like, ultimately, when we go to talk about it in a video, I'm just going to suggest to them they should really think about, if they really don't like Hunter, that they should just probably double up on human and casts for rangers, and then just make an army of Phonumen. This would be my honest suggestion. Right, get a couple raw morals maybe, so you have pew laser time. Put them on, like, purple and I don't know, something that they can host often. Could technically even do Sky if they really want it, but definitely purple raw moral. I just suggest for people to do that, because I think people kind of get hung up on ID coverage too early as well. Like, I see a lot of people that are just kind of, like, rolling, like, 10 or 12 characters, but I'm like, you don't have, like, the gear to make it good, so you just have to put yourself really far behind. So initially, it's good to just make sure when you make a character that the character has really good solo potential. So we covered solo potential a little bit on our videos already, but, you know, I'm talking about, like, if you're really going to play Hunter, it has to kind of be UCast. Ranger, I would recommend Raw Marl over Raw Mar for your first-time character. Technically, both are okay. And most forces are probably fine. Just be aware that they level a bit slower, so they could be a little rough for a first pick. I think they're a really great second character to supplement, for example. But from the standpoint of, once you're kind of beyond that point and you have a good solo character, that's how you end up gearing all your other characters. Because I think bearing witness to CCC and how bad it is for Forest is why I have other character classes. Like, this is their purpose. When we do want to try other runs, we want to go for other good items, I can get away with kind of lower gear requirements by playing a support character, and then eventually people will need to dip their toes. And I think that's the other big thing. I think people wait a little too long on ES weapons in particular. Like, I know I personally waited way too long. I could have had them, like, 2+ years ago. I only got them, like, last year. So, like, I definitely should have been using them if I was going to be serious with Ranger. Now, granted, I at least did focus on my forces well. But making that first big step to making sure you have your, like, Rafoe merges, your Bifoe merges, is, like, a big step towards your character becoming, like, solo carry, can do whatever hunt they want, nothing matters. Kind of territory. I don't like that they're getting close in there. It's fine. More stats. See, the problem too is that the Delta Saber slaps you, it stops you from stacking, which then gets everybody else killed. It's kind of a series of annoying things are happening right now. Stop that. There we go, we've stabilized. I'm gonna go heal them since I have time. Handle them. They're getting hard abused. Stacks out preemptively. Yeah, so it's like one of those things where I think, funny enough, like people trying to do like TTF on Ultimate, I think doing that as a first-time player is so much harder than doing challenge mode. Maybe that'll be my hot take. I think if you're trying to clear a TTF and not die like sub-level 110, the difficulty of that is so much higher than just doing challenge mode. And then you're gonna go, oh, I wish I had this from the start. Now, let me also be clear, you do need to get PDs for them to be useful. So it's not like I'm on normal mode and before I start anything, I'm gonna get my challenge mode item, because you still have to get essentially 50 PDs. So you need a certain baseline of gear. Oh, that's unfortunate that they spawned. Oh yeah, we're gonna have a party wipe here. Unfortunate. I was having a conversation. How rude of you, Sinnoh Squiggles. Rude. I'm gonna slash lobby. Rip all their bag synchro and whatever. Yeah, see, I can't even kill these Sinnohs consistently on this difficulty. It's so sad. So sad. Then there was one survivor. Lobby, lobby, lobby. Yeah, there we go. Lobby though. Yeah, it's one of those things where I would recommend a full group. So if you're playing like blind without looking at the maps, it's definitely like a more of a challenging experience, but like in terms of actually surviving it, it's not that bad. I think people oversell challenge mode. Maybe to themselves. It might not even be a person specifically that oversells it. But it's not that bad. Episode 2, you respect that. That I will say. Don't do episode 2 blind. That one is just, ooh, you're in for a wake-up call. That is not good for beginners. But otherwise, like, you have to kind of think of it this way. It's not that different than just doing government quests, just that you can't back. And to compensate you not being able to go back, all of the weapons that drop are generally vastly superior to anything that drops in the normal game. Like, when you're going through Caves 1, you're not going to normally come across an 80-hit weapon with 80 A-Beast. But, like, if you pick it up in challenge mode, you're like, oh, this feels amazing. You're like, wow, why isn't the normal game like this? This is the hard part? I did this with 0-hit items. You're gonna find yourself saying that. You're like, wait a minute. You're like, wait a minute, I got cheated. Why isn't the normal mode like this? You're like, wait a minute, power materials give you like 10 ATP per usage? That's wild. You're just gonna shake your head? Yeah, unreduced hell. Ooh. That'll be a fun one for players to get for the first time as well. So you can imagine as you start hitting the 180 or so ATA, before weapon ATA, you are basically able to special everything below ultimate as a ranger. You don't need to be at completely maxed out stats to do well, but you'll notice it just becomes really silly. You don't need the full 241 ATA in most episode 4 runs in order to special. So you could be like easily 40 to 50 undercap and still at least land heavy special on every enemy in very hard mode in episode 4. Kind of wild. So it can be kind of nice. So just imagine, like, if you're struggling with Gertabulu and you're like, man, I'm doing like 400 of grants, this thing's got like 4,000 health. Some player just kind of walks along and goes, special, normal, and they're dead. They're dead in the time it took for me to say that, because that's what happens with ES weapons. And you're like, wow, the game is suddenly much easier. Yeah. I would say, you know, we'll get some new players in rotation for challenge mode. I'm definitely looking for people that haven't played before to kind of loosely guide them. I'm not going to claim to be good at it, but I'll say good enough. Like, I can at least try to help with puzzles. I can generally play any role and do fine. I could kind of give some general advice as to where we're going and what kind of teams we should split into. But, you know, I mean, across like 2, maybe 3 sessions, the team will end up getting something that is basically game-changing. As long as you pick something like Demon Mech Gun or Hellshot, one of the two will usually just be used pretty much all the time once you have it, if not both, depending on the run. So characters like Ramar that depend on you being able to combo kill to stay safe suddenly have an option to beat every enemy using basically only their accuracy as their own limitation. So it's like, oh no, I have to land specials as Ramar, who has like 50 to 60 more accuracy than every character? Okay. Yeah, oh boy, what a drawback. Yeah, forces are kind of nice in the sense that they have kind of a, I would say, a higher floor to get started, because you have a lot of techs, you need potentially some good mags and materials in order to start really crowd controlling properly. But then, like, once you hit that floor, most of those items are transferable, or if you really need them, they're, like, very quick to pick up. Like, it's not very hard to get, like, level 26 plus techniques once you have a character in Ultimate as a force. There's a lot of runs you can do for those techniques. I think my damage is low. I am Gafo emerged, apparently, allegedly. Yeah, like, Rocket Seals can end up being, like, really strong. It's just that I think if you're playing single player, it's not good to play cast solo, with QCast probably being the only major exception. Just because you're going to hit a point where you either need to have, like, really strong gear to make them work, or... No, that's pretty much it. Like, even Seal could be kind of rough for single player, just because she doesn't get that raw ATP that QCast does. So, like, she could be, like, better. Like, I'll give an example. So if you're playing a party with a Force, it's probably better for you to play Rocket Seal, because now you're raw moral with better HP, defense, maybe not accuracy, but also freeze traps, where traps become a lot more relevant in high-level difficulty. So it's like, people will be like, yeah, I think I prefer a character that ultimately ends up with more ways to boost their ATP and offers traps over raw moral in the party with the Force. But flip side, if you have a party with no Force, it's just going to be easier to host as a raw moral if everybody's being cast. So it really just depends on your own personal meta. This is not a, you know, one-size-fits-all. It really just depends on who you play with. Some people just prefer to play human characters, some people don't. Generally speaking, there's a lot of casts out there, but that doesn't mean that's who you play with. I definitely need more Gaboe stacks. Level 40 though. I'm gonna stack my brains out here. Please don't hit the other person. And Saber, why are you ignoring me? So rude. There we go. Go back to Gaboe stacks. So it is what it is. It just, you'll find a character will have benefits of doing multiplayer over single player. So that's why, like, I might revisit the class recommendations for players to talk about it again, like, more formally. Oh, rip for player. These guys get a Bowie stack going. Oh, that wasn't too. I'll be. Desperately trying to lobby them out. Oh, if player 1 leaves, nothing else spawns. That's okay. Cool. That makes my life easy. So they've almost leveled up. Daddy Not Dad says, made a Twitch account just to support 60 streams once again. Thanks for making a ton of great videos. New players can use guidance. Thank you. You're doing well. We are wrapping up a very cheesy multi-box power leveling experimental stream. And then I guess we'll transition over to helping players that need levels. Mostly just seeing, like, how viable it is to get these people to very hard mode. The answer is it's not too bad. until you get to hard mode, then it's like, ugh. Just, ugh, that's how I feel about that. Yeah, this should level them at least. It probably took it a little over 2 hours to get 3 people to level 40. Just okay. I mean, we're not playing during XP week, so it kind of makes sense. Plus, I'm doing solo damage. Rip the music, by the way. Seriously, why does the music keep pausing? Stop it. Bad music. So I think the idea will be that, you know, I personally thought Ramarl was probably one of the strongest starts, just from the standpoint of she doesn't have like the easiest normal mode compared to some of the other characters, but if you're taking time to get through it, you're just gonna be able to clear basically everything with her. So like between getting like a Ramarl force of some sort kind of going on, then she ends up being really good. Just think about it this way. She's a character that can play episode 4 due to Pew Laser. She can do level 20 buffs and debuffs, which is all you really need at high level. If any buffs, depending where you're at. She's got fantastic weapon variety. Kind of nice. Yeah, she's pretty strong. It's just one of those things where if you're only doing like normal mode, she's not going to outclear the speed at which like a Hugh Cast will clear or some of the other characters. But that's the thing. Having just a slightly slower normal mode and compensation that you can actually do ultimate the first time you go to ultimate is kind of big. I think people kind of undersell that when they talk about that character. Like, I like Ramar, and he's definitely really, really good with challenge mode weapons, but, you know, your first character is not going to have, like, hundreds of people here. It's not going to be like, oh, well, when he gets V101 and, like, 3 challenge mode items in V502, it's like, yeah, you have to get there, though. Same reason I went Huneral, but less of a hero requirement to get started at all. Yeah, Huneral's just kind of a disappointing Ramarl. She can end up being good, but unfortunately, she is one of those characters that is just really, really, really hampered in the stats. Blame Sega for that. The fact that she ends up with, like, Fomarl accuracy growth is actually insulting. And unlike human characters, like Ramarl, she's also going to not excel as quickly as the others do. She's more reliant than some of the other classes are to hit max level. Kind of like how Fo Newman is not really good at melee until he starts getting into like the 190-ish region, so he can consistently wield X-Cal and also be max ATA. Yeah. No, she'll eventually be good. It's just she's not going to be... I think people also kind of oversell her as like a really great starting character. I think Ramarl is just legitimately better in every single way as a starting character. His accuracy matters a lot. So being able to actually combo kill can kind of compensate your ATP. And it is nice. Nice to have on Ramarl. Yeah, I was kind of hoping she'd be stronger too. I learned the hard way where I was like, ooh, it's just not as good as advertised. But I think once she started getting into like the 150 territory, I was like, okay, she became more of a real character to me other than the challenge character, because she could equip things like Blue Adoshi Violet Nimedao, which makes up for her super stat hungry character. She somehow needs to get a bajillion accuracy to catch up to Humar, who didn't need to do anything to get that much accuracy, and will perpetually be under him in ATP most times. Crazy. Yeah, so that's why I think on a couple of YouTube comments, I'm like, she is a really great, like, second character, because, like, once you have the techniques, it's like night and day difference going through, like, oh, you know, now I'm playing the game, and she can start with level 20 shifted D-band, because I already have a mind bag. You're like, oh, this isn't too bad. Nice, I'm getting level 40. Like, oh, this isn't too bad. But, like, the first time through, ooh. Because you're basically split between, like, you need the MST in order to learn the techniques, but then you're raising 2 mags at once, and she doesn't get it at the same rate as just playing a Force would for their own supportive techniques. It's kind of rough. Another opportunity to pass here. Just waiting on the... There we go. We did it, chat. That's probably about an hour, 2 hours, 10 minutes or so. I had some weird pauses in the timer, so I don't know how close it's going to be to that. But it was only about an hour and a half on stream. I might as well try to clear the runs here. Yeah, it's one of those ones where she looks really great on paper, but they host her in terms of stats. I'll never forgive them for that, and faux moral stats also don't make any sense. They did faux moral super dirty. I think she's the only female with less MST than the male counterparts. For some reason, question mark? I don't really understand. Okay, so I'm done with them. I'm going to log out of the multi-box. I keep saying multi-box. I'm going to log out of the multi-launch it. Quit the game. Close it out on the other characters. Watch Ephinea have a fit. Thinking about it. Let's take a look at our first. See how long that took. Playing and messing around and experimenting. Hope Comcast has done baby raging. Hopefully. I haven't seen it drop so far. Well, welcome, Draken. Oh no. Poor daddy not daddy. I got a possible ban evader monitoring comment from Twitch. I guess because you have the word not in your name, I don't really think you said anything that would have triggered that. I don't know. Yeah, it was like 2 hours. Yeah, like 2 hours 15 would probably be accurate. I was kind of moving stuff around, so it's about on point. I literally was using this character to transfer some items, so take that timer with a grain of salt. But about 2 hours 15, I think, would be accurate with the setup. So if I stuck to CCC, it would have been faster. And Beyond the Horizon is good, but unless I'm willing to spend some time heavily HBing them, I don't think it's worth it for me. That was basically my takeaway there. So I guess the question is, chat, did you want to make any characters? In the meantime, let's actually view the comment that for some reason triggered the ban evader thing. Another point in favor of Ramaru as the first character, she's the easiest to have fun with when you're new and don't have great gear. Low level, shift to D-ban, Gel and Zillor goes a long way. Exactly. And I think what also helps is that Ranger is always going to be one of the easiest classes to play because they don't ever have to memorize the attack patterns of enemies when you first play. Like, a lot of the hard mode to very hard mode Ranger experience is, I'm scared, I will sniper through a doorway, or I'm going to shotgun everything, and I don't really care what they attempt to do. So I think the weapon set is also kind of a point in Ramarl's favor. I think it flips a little bit once you start to get high level, and you have access to very specific items like Dark Flow. But at the same time, like, Ramarl is now going to be a support character with demons and hell, and still gonna be like really, really good at pretty much all points in the game. So just a solid choice there. Okay, we'll switch over characters. So what did chat want to do? We leveled the set. We could go into character creation, or I can help people out if they want to play. But I am happy with the first portion of the stream at least. OBS is behaving, ISP is behaving. Much better start than this morning. That's an entire set of characters out of the way. Sadly though, I think I need to put him back on the unseal plan. Hope you're doing well. Daddy not daddy as well as Draken. Let's see, you see how fast I typed that game name in? I was done. I was like, I'm gonna go put this away. Good. There's a pretty good RBR rotation for people that do want to do Ultimate today. Otherwise, if people are just kind of preparing for Halloween, I'm all for that. We could get people in a comfortable spot to do Ultimate. I think that's always a good thing. Double check. What? 8,450. See, there we go. I was kind of laughing because I was seeing people were commenting in general. There were brief mentions in the main Discord about Value City, aka Episode 4, Very Hard Mode. They're like, oh, I can't do it in an afternoon of unlocking. I'm like, oh no. No worries. Always appreciate the support. But I was kind of laughing because somebody was saying, like, you know, they like to unseal items in an afternoon. I'm like, don't show them the streams. Don't show them the value of Very Hard Mode. They're gonna be a real quick believer because the CCC basically got removed from the game essentially for a lot of players since it no longer drops items. But it's okay. I've already transitioned over to Episode 4, so it's a less painful experience. I will say from the standpoint of like Vivian and Rambling May, it definitely sucks to have yet another quest removed to get easier access to lilies. So hopefully they compensate it in the future, although based off of what I saw in the Discord, the answer is there are no current plans, which is not the best statement, to be honest. It is what it is. Let's see if anybody's in the lobby. We're gonna go to our little happy place, block or lobby 12. Beckon says, don't really get the CCC changes. Is it so that it's zero cost beyond the horizon? Yes. So, yeah, you can't get items or drops. So, I can kind of understand it like a preemptive way. They want to stop people from cookie farming and getting more value in the run. Honestly, I thought they got rid of it for the most part for a lot of players that did run it. Just due to the fact that you couldn't run it on normal mode anymore and very hard mode was nerfed. So I saw some like numbers floating around for like 2023, but I was like, what about 2024s when they implemented the change? Julio says they wanted to buff up drops for the zone, so I figured they had some concrete plans. They didn't want to drop them pre-Halloween. Yeah, so CCC over. So if you wanted Jaya's there, I'm so sorry, it's over. The time of CCC is over. Okay, we'll do a little quick check. People want to play any difficulty, let me know. Otherwise, we could go back to solo stuff in a moment. I'm gonna check out one thing while chat sides. They want to join today. Got that. I feel like I'm missing something. Prioritizing temple over spaceship is kind of insane behavior. See, I kind of understand why they touched it in the sense that they don't want people getting more value, but at the same time, I'm like, okay. Like, I don't think it really made that big of a difference. I mean, I'm not gonna say there weren't people doing ultimate CCC, but like compared to like prior years, it went down significantly, and the people that did still try to do it still got less value. But like, where was the problem? You made it literally 3 times harder for them to get value on normal mode, which is fine. You shouldn't be running CCC for value on normal mode, for cookies specifically. Do you know what I mean? Like, I thought they kind of dealt the problem of just running a low-level difficulty for a bajillion cookies, so it targeted more than just CCC, but it impacted CCC pretty heavily. So I thought I saw a lot more games last year targeting Terrells and things like that. Not to say I didn't see CCC games, just not as many. Because even I was going to do normal mode CCC last year. I remember that much. CCC on Halloween banned, but we had years of parse being insane value for its entry level. Yeah. Welcome to off-the-cuff balance changes. I really challenge for some of the admins to be honest and say what was the last time you hunted those for like constant items. I don't mean like I played it once 3 years ago kind of thing. I mean like, do they seriously sit there and grind out temple? Like, I don't feel like the answer is yes. I feel like they're probably doing very specific runs, and I'm gonna go, when was the last time you spent a couple of weeks just doing temple or spaceship? Or looking at seabed and going, you know what's okay? Why don't we leave free bed as the best possible quest to pick for most enemies in seabed episode 2? Like, there's a lot of points where you could start episode 2. I don't know if I would have addressed CCC first without touching some of those other things. Like, I personally am all for more temple quests that remove the stupid maze rooms with enemies, but have similar monster counts. I'm not asking for like 500 enemies in like an area. I just don't want to be fighting like 3 Del D followed by 3 Del D followed by 2 Indie Belros in a stupid maze room. I don't feel like that's a wild ask. Max Attack 2V copy quests and only the seabed parts, please. It's kind of wild to me that free roaming is top level grinding strat over a quest. Yeah. So like, it's still one of the preferred ways to get Rambling Bay because of how bad it is just to get lilies consistently. So it's like, it's okay that there's like generalist quests, and that's why things like Maximum Attack VR exist, is so that you could get more than one set of value while playing, and you can leave temple if all you want to do is temple. But at the end of the day, like, most other quests have at least 30 plus enemies in their primary hunt, and also don't need to take a 5.5 minute walk just to get to said point, let alone fight and clear them. So I don't need them to be like 60 lilies and maximum attack episode 1. I don't think we should compare it to that necessarily. It's just that there's a more balanced array of items that can drop in episode 2. Like Hildator is a real rare enemy, and Rappies are a real rare enemy. And I just like to see one, you know, kind of touching like very low amounts of the other enemies to just say like, hey, this is a more Lily focused one. You have a more general value quest, and then just you get to pick, or maybe RBR picks which one ends up being a little better at the time. Some variations for different hunts. Yeah. I mean, just look at how, like, wild the enemy count is in some of the other areas. Oh, wait, I'm on very hard mode. Wait, I can show something to chat. Oh, just thought. Although that needs me to transfer again. 1 second. We're gonna open the launcher. Oh, I need to log off of this one, actually, for this to work. Chat needs to actually see the one that is on OBS. Oops. So I'm not on the right ID for it, so this is just more of a proof of concept. So let me go here. Let's do this. So that Ranger we just put into very hard mode. Oops. I hit cancel there or something weird. So we're gonna place him briefly. I want to show a runoff to chat. I'm curious how doable it is with like almost new gear. Like obviously I have to give up something, but I'm gonna compare. How much gear do I need to do to make this actually viable? Oh. I think I'm double tapping the enter key. Now I'm learning what I did. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave it on this screen a bit because I'm trying to set it up. You can see this one has less time than the other one we looked at. That's why I'm saying like 2 hours 15 is more accurate, because I also let them sit for like 4 minutes before stream start, where I literally wasn't doing anything, so not a bad estimate. Plus this is the character that also got XP deprived, so he leveled even slower on top of that, so he should have been way faster. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and make a game. I'm gonna trade to myself real quick. I'm okay with the other person kind of just going AFK. Also, I invited myself to my own team, so just let you all know. So I'm officially invited with all my characters. I don't know if I can recruit necessarily. I don't know if I want to use up all the lieutenant slots for it, but that's fine. Yeah, one thing I wanted to test. So with like a kind of average character, how hard is it to shoot the apes? Let's find out in real time, chat. I'm gonna get a couple items here for experimentation time, because we are in the experimentation portion of our stream still. Let's give you, I don't know, I have something with like a bajillion accuracy. Oh, look at that Nidra. 145. Oh, I cannot wait till chat sees this on the other character. Yeah, gimme. There we go, chat. Nothing but dex. Look at that accuracy. So gross. Anyway, let's start moving over our many spare heavenly arms. 1, 2, 3. You know what? Have a V101. Why not? Might as well just test optimally, I guess. Curious. He'll need a frame to use this. I guess he can have one of my spare ones. That's also why it's important to keep level 4, or 4 slot frames around. You never know when you're gonna go back and do it. Ooh. Yeah, look at that accuracy. Is he max accuracy right now? He is. well, Chan, I don't think it's gonna be much of an experiment. This should just be a massacre. Why don't you borrow something to kill? Ooh, this character... Oh, no, I have him. Never mind. Do a dead shot. What else do I need? Oh, we should just give him a ranger wall. Why not, chat? Give him a ranger wall. Equip it now. Not like I'm using it on other characters. What else would you need? A V5 unit of some sort? Oh, I don't have a V5. Oh, oops. I forgot who has the spare one. Oh no, Chad. I might have to actually figure out who has it. What an unfortunate circumstance. Anyway. He needs to be level 41 for Ranger Wall. So sad. I thought it was 31. Well, I guess the question is... I guess we could test it with this. It's fine. He can keep all those items, I don't need them. The only thing I need back is my ES eventually, so I'm gonna let this character AFK for a while. Just let them go to lobby, rather than sit in a game. He's just gonna hide in the corner. Be a fun little surprise if you see him later. Anyway, let's slash lobby. Out of curiosity, all you did was just pump accuracy. And you come in as a fresh character, but you have extremely stupid items. How fast... Oh, don't go on the chair. How fast do you kill episode 2 very hard mode? Just curious. One person... Maximum attack, 2B. Keep in mind, I'm gonna try it without a V5 unit. And then I'll level up once and get Ranger Wall. This should be interesting. Does he even have a... Does he have a special attack equipped for one? I at least need specials. Okay, one. Oh, they're inversed. Oh, that's weird. Oh, default controls are weird. I'm hitting the square button, or like the X button on the Xbox, and it's hitting the right button there. Oh, I hate that. I don't like that at all. Okay, well that's fine. We'll hope to fix that eventually if we're gonna be serious with this account. Curiosity. Oh man, you don't even need anything. This is a character. Oh, because it's multi-hitting? Can I not combo? Oh no. Oh, that's so sad. I can't combo with him due to the controller issue, because he's double inputting here. Oh, that's so sad. I want to test this. No. I don't know how to get it to not do that. It's a customize. Did it just freeze me through the wall? Or, hello. Let's see if we can fix this real quick. Let's do this. You see how it's just like instantly confirming? I don't know if I could get rid of these. Curiosity. If I disable my normal controls, does it function as intended here? Okay. So if I get rid of my other controls, it works okay. Alright, back to clearing. Wow, he doesn't even need a V5 unit? What a pro. Right, chat? What a world we live in. This nonsense. Why is this allowed? So, even without having a V5 unit, I hope this showcases how stupid accuracy plus Ranger equals. Look at this. What do they do? Nothing. The answer is nothing, chat. What can they do? Welcome to Ranger. How would you even compete with this as a character that is not Ranger? You gonna walk towards me menacingly? I don't care. What do you do about this? Nothing. That's some good XP, chat. You like that? Such a dumb clear. We might be doing some of these runs later. A little solo off-stream stuff. Oh, I failed a 30 EDK? That's so sad. Wait, what? Why was he not targetable? Hello? Include. Yeah, weirdly the Marilla was the most threatening thing there. Ridiculous. What a character. So even with really messed up controls, it's honestly not that hard. Though the reset would normally just be coming to this room and resetting. Because if you play on certain IDs, chat, you can get like discos and stuff here. So I guess if you're feeling really comfortable, which unfortunately I'm not with the current controller setup, nothing really stops you from going forward. Unfortunately, see what happens when I hit the start menu normally here? It doesn't work properly. It's mapped very weirdly by default. I never really understood why it was like this by default on this controller. I mean, I'm using Xbox, so it should have worked a bit more cleanly. I think this is what's supposed to be. Yeah, that's still wrong. That's correct now. I've lost my camera control for some reason. Thanks, game. Appreciate you. But some of these default ones I don't understand. Here we go. Okay, got my camera back. Let's confirm. This is detail. This is cancel. Oh, no. This is right palette. Yeah, there we go. We in business? There we go. Look at that. I can do stuff now. Alright, then we'll go a little further. It's nice when your buttons aren't reversed, chat. It would be nice. Yeah, that default config made no sense to me. That was one of those moments where I'm like, something is desperately wrong. I can't combo as Ramar. That should be impossible. Ooh, look at those whips. Yeah, I got punished for the whips. That's fine. And now with that in mind, who has my spare V5s? Oh, I see Fulcrum waiting in the lobby. Gotta turn on my other controls for that account. Maybe I'll re-standardize my accounts to make it easier going forward. I don't know who has my V5s. I know I don't use them, so it's like I might as well give it a try. But once we're done with this, Fulcrum, if you want to do some runs, just let me know. I'm assuming you're waiting to play. Let's say V501. It is currently unused on legs or any other spares. Yeah, we'll need some people soon. I was gonna say, somebody should have like 4 of these. Okay, Gravecast has them. I was gonna say, I have like 4 V502s. This is not a question of if I have it, I'm just like, where is it? An item I don't normally use. So let's switch characters. Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to load or give them to me. I just gotta do proper trades. So this character can lobby now. And I can come here, do a little trade with myself. I just need to play his Gravecast, give him an item, and keep it permanently. Honestly, most of these items can be kept permanently on the other character. So I basically just need to hand over a set of 3 Heavenly Arms, a generic Power Mag, and honestly, that's pretty much all you really need to get started on like alt characters. A frame that maybe holds multiple Heavenly HPs, I guess. Right? Like, you don't need like a crazy amount of items. Like, all of those individually are like 1 PD, 1 PD, 1 PD. If you're doing self-found, it might be kind of annoying to do, but in the trade market, it's really not that bad. Multi-client detected, drops disabled, that's fair. Yeah, Dressplate's a really good ult frame for sure. Yeah, I was gonna say, see this chat? I was like, there's no way I don't have these. Look at all this nonsense I don't use in here. This character should probably also give up items. So at some point, my Hunter will come here and take items from Gravecast. In the meantime, we'll grab one of his many V501s that chat could only partially see. And just get rid of one of these for this. Still not enough to level, unfortunately. Does that impact his accuracy at all? A little bit. So we're gonna do one more reset. So just with the bare minimum V501, how much of a difference does it make in that run? That's all I want to see. And then obviously we can Ranger Wall, which will be very, very stupid when that happens. My other character can just log off for now. I don't need anymore. Oh, oops, I gotta turn off the other controls where it's gonna have a hissy fit. There we go. Back to super vanilla controls. No menus for triggering hotkeys and stuff like that. No right trigger panels. Just old classic PSO right here. Which, to be fair, if I'm playing this, I don't really need to lobby or do anything crazy here. Seems to mostly be behaving itself after that fix, at least. We're gonna do the same thing, but this time just keep in mind the effectiveness of Hell has been buffed. Yeah, Heavenly HPs are amazing, because it's just 100 raw HP. Oh. So anyway, chat, we can see it made an immediate difference. just FYI, just a little bit of a difference. I am actually just one-shotting everything. Cool. Anyway, I'm gonna put on Ranger Wall, so that's gonna be a thing. Shake your head, chat. This is gross. Oh, Ranger, you don't play by the rules when you have ES weapons. What are they gonna do? How would anybody compete with your clear speed here? Why is there a 35-hit Claymore on the floor? Wow, actually insane. Look at that, 100 XP a second? Oh my gosh. Ranger, stop, no. No, you're achieving ultimate levels experience, that's not fair. Wait, how did I miss that? Game, please. I think you cheated me. Yeah, you cheated me, get out of here. Cheaters. Anyway, here's Ranger Roll, yeah. See, this is why you need to do challenge mode weapons. You can't do this without challenge mode weapons, I'm sorry. Just, it's so good. should eventually buy healing items, I guess. I mean, just look at this. Well, I missed a little bit there, I guess. Alright, getting some power materials. I mean, I guess it's fair. We've been playing Force this whole time. Ranger has some runs. I would like to not be in the middle of this if I can. Meteor Smash? Sure. You know what? Let's play as we go. Oh no, show web, show web, show web. There we go. It's like, I don't want to see special weapon in all capitals. No thanks. Unrealistic manual evasion checks, Fantasy Star Zero moment. Oh, you guys are ultra dead. Will one of you drop me a healing item, please? Appreciate it. I don't have Resto. I have to, like, vaguely try. I die here. Oh no, I'm fine. So for some reason their EDK is just like hilariously low on very hard mode. I wonder how intentional that was. Like it's almost 25 to 35 lower on every enemy. Like those Gibbons are like 60 to 70 EDK, but in very hard mode solo they're 30. Like they're supposed to be annoying to kill, but they aren't on solo very hard mode for some reason. There you go, more accuracy, John. Don't you Gaffoe me, I can't heal that. That's like perma damage. Right, chat, we're playing like a roguelike right now. I can only heal on level up. Can you hold the Del Beater? No. I have to kill those legit, unfortunately. But to get there, I could cheese them. I could do all this run without resetting. So as I said before, there's a couple IDs that are good for it. But it's not going to be like every Ranger ever is going to get crazy value. It's just that if you come here on like Blue ID, for example, or some of the other IDs, they get Jaya. Like Viridian gets Jaya here, as an example. They would be okay. I forget offhand which one has the best spread, but in terms of just viability, I mean, you're witnessing. This seems like a very fair endeavor. I think chat can agree. Truly, I'm trying very hard to delete enemies in this run. Truly, it is a thing, an utter struggle. Although I'm about to come up to Murderflower, who I don't think I could kill. I only have 300. I almost have more accuracy than I do ATB, which is certainly something. How is pattern though? I mean, it's normal pattern from Ultimate. There's not really a difference actually. The same CCA pattern. The only time there's a pattern difference is Caves and Temple are better in very hard mode. Believe it or not. Because, you know, very hard mode, why have any flaws? Okay. Can I even kill this thing, is the question. I'm gonna back up here. It's at 24, yeah, I'm not killing it. It's sadly got 100 EDK, so it's not gonna happen. I just kind of reset here, I think. To keep in mind, I'm just using a Dex Mag, so I could probably offload some of it as we get higher level. Anyway, I'm gonna give the main weapon back. I could keep the V whatever's on this character, I don't care. Okay, let's go grab this item off of this character. And yeah, we get to do some multiplayer. Though it seems pretty easy. It's about as easy as I thought it would be. Just Mary Carroll would need a demon mech gun to be doing this strategy. Which, to be fair, is just yet another special mode or challenge mode weapon that's not super hard to acquire. So I don't have to worry about doing 100 damage if I reduce them down to 2. Do you know what I mean, chat? Like, just kind of like, okay. It's fine. Play Mr. Freeze briefly. I gotta go grab this item from him. But yeah, for some reason when you go to compare it to the multiplayer mode, it's just like so much higher EDK. Like, most of the EDK has usually been somewhat reasonable, like within 5 or 10. In some cases, like, it's like 20. But this one, it's just insane. This thing is like 30 EDK less. What madness. I love that I just knew. I was like, oh, there's a name that's gibberish on normal mode. Yeah, that's me. not even gonna question it. Let's have you drop this. I'm already at two power materials, barely did anything. What was I using this on? I guess leveling new rangers, so he could kind of keep this one permanently as well, honestly. The only thing I really want is Deadshot back. He could keep the frame. Okay. So, with that in mind, I'm going to log out of the other account, and then I'm going to log back into this one. Clear that up, go back here, switch it over. Look at that, it even knew which one was my last logged in account. How convenient. So yeah, I guess to answer Draken's question, it is possible. I mean, if it goes to the same areas that CCA would normally get pattern for, it gets pattern for. It's not going to have as many as, like, doing Seabed, for example. So things like Desert, because it's in the same tier as Ruins, it's really strong. Whereas Tower, Seabed Upper, so I think it might just be maybe? If we're working backwards from there. It's still decent. Okay. So, I guess with that out of the way, we showcased a whole bunch of characters. And at some point, we'll, during the stream, have chat make more characters for me to level. Those default controls were something, chat. I had no idea what I was looking at. It's like buttons for double tapping, buttons for inverse. Okay, now it's a little better. Oh, did anybody want to play today? Fulcrum waiting patiently to potentially fill a slot. Fulcrum is a pink ID. Nice. Walk around Fulcrum for a little bit. I'm not sure, Amelia, if you wanted to get some assistance leveling any of your characters. I don't mind playing very hard mode, otherwise I'm happy with Ultimate. Not sure, Draken, also, if you wanted to play. Let me put away this item before I forget about it, though. If chat doesn't make a decision, the answer is I might just go back to very hard mode. Just never leave it. It's so good. Because we need at least 3 people for Scarlet Realm, because it is kind of a longer quest. A lot of the MA1Cs are kind of rough to just do with 2 people. Not yet, haven't gotten food first, that's fair. I figured I would ask. See who wants to do things. I will go to Value Town. Just did a 3-hour zero stream with Skyly. Oh, okay. No worries. Take the break that you need, Kraken. I guess I'll open it up to Mila. You want to go to very hard mode for some levels? Get some good items along the way, of course. Minimize. Gotta wrap up some stuff before I hop on, but I shouldn't be too long. Sure. So if there's any character you wanted to level... Oh, I see Fulcrum is not 175, they are 75. Yeah, fine, let's level Fulcrum while we wait. We can have Mila in this in a little bit. I'm happy going to Value Town. Although, I guess when we go there on Blue ID, it's Value City. Value Town are like the outskirts. So we'll do some runs, and these runs shouldn't take too long, so if people want to hop in, go in there. Yeah, had some fun there. Just trying to think if there's anything else to really kind of wrap up our multi-box experimentation talks. I mean, I guess it shows how effective the ES weapons are. That it is like night and day difference trying to do a normal shotgun into episode 2, where you legitimately one-shot everything. So it's just a magnitude better when you have those items. Well, I think when we talk about characters in upcoming videos, we're going to be very clear to kind of differentiate between like fresh character versus like has mag and materials versus has done challenge mode, because there is a really big jump in power level if you have some of those items. Speaking of power level, don't mind some more power material. This is so brutal, they can't do anything about this. Poor lizards. I do like that even in the short time of playing a level 41 Ramar that can barely control properly, I broke 100 XP a second. Just another reason where I'm like, why would I play Ultimate? I can't break that XP on that character at that level. No way. No way I'm getting 100 XP a second with that Ramar. A very hard mode provides. Well, I might have framed one though. My bad if I did. We'll quick on the draw. But otherwise, I think, you know, comparatively, I would rather do Massive Attack with a group, but at the same time, I don't want to have chat just kind of suffer by me playing Q-to-roll or, like, Ramar without stats or something. I mean, I guess I could play Ramar with Hell, so if I really need to play as them in level, it's fine. Both your Ranger and Force are 72. Well, you're more than welcome to bring in whoever you like. In fact, we might even just help both hit 80, to be honest. Get more coverage. Although the Force hitting 80 will probably be more impactful, because Forces are OP. Once they get the minimum items to get going. I don't know why I could forward there. Can't have it, I shouldn't do that. My finger just slips every now and then when I'm holding the right trigger in to cast for Foe. Oh, I already got speed. So, multi-boxing, not too bad. I might do that to kind of get some of the characters out of the way. Probably after this run, I might split up the video a little bit to keep multi-boxing where it is. This will be kind of our wrap-up, but instead of doing it over a Let's Chat screen, we'll do it while killing these enemies. So I think from the standpoint of the multi-box slash the multi-client approach, not bad. I think the takeaway was, if I'm willing to gear up the characters, Beyond the Horizon is good. Otherwise, I think from that standpoint, when it comes to just ease of use, I think it's just kind of uncontested that CCC is just the easier clear. Now granted, we saw that at high level, it can be kind of annoying to still kill things in the spaceship, so it might be taken with like a grain of salt, where Beyond the Horizon still might be better for characters that are a bit more fresh that are carrying. So definitely the multi-client approach has a much steeper stat and percentage requirement than the other alternatives, unfortunately, playing with the group. So whereas I think you only really need about 800, 900 MST with really strong techs, and preferably at minimum one tech boosting thing on a Fonuman. Comparatively, you know, I need their, you know, multiple adepts, or else I just burn out a TP, and I need, you know, Emerge, and I need Ignition Cloak, and I need Magical Piece, and even then, it's still not killing. So episode 2 definitely is a little tricky there. Key takeaway is that we saw from the XP range, it's not quite an entire room in episode 4, so we help people kind of get a visual representation of how far you can stand. And I think from the standpoint of future runs, if I were to do it to kind of optimize the run, if in the event I want to do massive attacks, I should just take my own telepipes to save myself time. Pretty much all my takeaways there. But overall, hopefully chat got to see some stupid runs, like the solo carry. And I guess it kind of also shows that forces just have a much easier time in episode 4 in general. Like, it is night and day, this clear, compared to doing, even just a little bit of hard mode. So just imagine, like, how borderline impossible a very hard mode is for Force in CCC. Like, think of how much I was struggling with a almost completely maxed MST Force with all the opponents is. Needless to say, not worth your time. We're not going to demonstrate it on stream. It is just a miserable experience. Which I think summarizes Forces in Episode 2 pretty nicely. Just Episode 2, a miserable experience for Force. But otherwise, the tried and true, as long as you have a couple forces, 4C is pretty good. As a single force can't possibly kill them with Gifoi stacks. At least I don't think it's possible. It's definitely not while I'm using Claim to Argent. I'll frame it that way. So the more forces you have, the faster this goes. Even if you don't have like the highest level of tech, being able to stun lock with Gifoi makes this a lot safer for everyone. So even if you don't like to swap a lot, this isn't too bad. But I would recommend for a truly fresh character, I think MA4A, basically the A-path version of Episode 4's Massive Attack. It's just going to be a lot easier. A lot less starts to deal with. There's less zoos, basically no Dwarfons. You're trading in some value for consistency. If your character is getting one-shot a lot, 4A is probably going to be your best friend. Oh, I was off like one cast. Sorry. This one. Oh. What? So you can see here we're missing it by maybe like 3 Gifois. So with like triple force, these Dwarfons can't do anything. Generally, the rule of thumb with Episode 4 is the more forces, the easier it becomes. So the fact that just one strong, high-level character is with a level 76 force, and we're still almost one-comboing everything, it's kind of funny to me. So just keep that in mind. But I think from the standpoint of the video, we're gonna pause here. Although I'll read the last comment. Kind of feeling the pain of having changed with Phono over Phono Newman, but I have a disease where I can only play women. Hey, people can pick whatever they like. Some classes are going to be a bit easier than others. You might find that you like the support range of Resta, which is actually pretty useful for things like new mop-up operation, where you need to keep people alive. So every class has their kind of niche. Some of them have a really big area they could play in, and some people are just kind of in a more narrow spot. But Photo Roll, pretty solid. You'll find that her simple texts are always going to be a lot better in single player for shooting down zoos and stuff like that. And her base MST is also pretty good for just using grits in general. But I think from the standpoint, we're going to cut off the experimental portion of the video here. So if you did watch to this point in the video or the VOD, internet seems to be back, and hopefully you enjoy all the future runs.